Hey everybody, and welcome back to Table Fellowship. My name is Ellie, in case you're new to the channel here. Thanks so much for joining me. Before we get into the recipe for today, I want to get into the word a little bit. And I saw this, actually saw a video recently about this guy who was explaining when Jesus' last words were on the cross, "It is finished." And after I dug into it a little bit, I had to share with you guys as well. So that's what we're going to be in today. So we're going to be in John 19 at verse 30. When Jesus had received the sour wine, he said, "It is finished." And he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. Why is that significant? It is finished, or tetelestai is another pronunciation I've heard. The Greek word actually had a very specific meaning to it, and there's a reason why Jesus said that phrase, tetelestai, or "it is finished." See, for us as sinners, we have a debt that needs to be paid, right? God is holy, God is perfect. We are not by any stretch of the means, and we have a debt that needs to be paid. Along that, we have a judgment that needs to be served down to us, and we need to serve out our time. And there's a battle being fought for us, right? And so when Jesus says, "It is finished," this Greek word tetelestai was the word for completion. And this phrase tetelestai was used in 3 specific times for this completion, right? It was used when in the banking systems or when a debt was paid, the receipt was absolutely paid in full. They would say tetelestai, "It is finished, it is complete," right? The second situation that this word was used was in the courts or the judgment system, saying that a sentence has been fully served. See what I'm getting at here? And the third completion is in military terms. The third use was in military terms, right? And it was when a battle was won. And so when Jesus is on the cross, and the last thing he says is, tetelestai, "It is finished." Guys, he's saying, your debt has been paid. He paid it. Your sentence has been served. He served it. And the battle has been won. He fought and won it. And if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will, because as sinners, not only do we need that grace and that forgiveness that Christ gives us, right? But we need our debt to be paid. We need our sentence to be served. And we can't fight the battle on our own. The good news is it's already been won. It's already been paid, and it's already been served. So that's some food for thought for you. Now let's cook some food. One of my youth girls gave me some tomatoes off of her friend's vine in the garden. So let's make some bruschetta.
Start by dicing up some fresh tomatoes. You're going to want to do a fairly small dice on these. If your tomatoes are a bit watery, then go ahead and discard the watery parts. You really want the meaty part of the tomatoes. Thankfully, these tomatoes were super meaty, so I was able to use pretty much every single bit of it. Once you have your tomatoes diced, go ahead and get them in your bowl. Once you do that, you're just going to want to wipe up your station. It's going to be easier to chop everything else.
I know what you're thinking. Ellie, bruschetta, that's so simple. Yeah, I do a little twist on mine.
Make sure to thinly slice some garlic. Be careful when you do this. Make sure you have a sharp knife.
We're going to infuse some olive oil with garlic. So a little twist I put on my bruschetta is we're going to slowly fry this sliced garlic in olive oil. So the olive oil is going to get infused with delicious garlic flavor. These are going to get crispy. We're going to let that cool, and then all of this is going to go in the bruschetta.
Ignore my dirty stove. Heat a pan to medium-low heat. We want to do this low. We don't want to do a quick fry. So you want your oil to be slightly simmering, not on a boil. Keep a very close eye on it because you want it to be crispy golden, not brown. And the difference between that can be a couple seconds. This is the color we want. This is going to be really, really hot, so very carefully strain that olive oil and reserve those crisps.
Let the olive oil cool completely. We don't want to cook our tomatoes, right? And then reserve these delicious garlic chips. They're going to be used later. In the meantime, let's finish prepping. Let's get some fresh basil. Fresh Parmesan cheese. Don't buy the stuff that's already pre-done. Shave it yourself. It's going to be fresher. It's going to be more delicious. Also, pro tip. This is just a peeler. It's not a cheese cutter. Super easy shaved Parmesan. Get you a baguette. Delicious. Okay, pro tip. When you're cutting a baguette, you want as much surface area for whatever topping that you're going to be putting on it, right? In our case, it's this bruschetta. And so when you cut it, you don't actually want to go straight down perpendicular like this. You're going to want to do what's called a bias cut. And a bias cut is simply cutting it at a slant, right? So you're going to do a bias cut by doing slant cuts. This allows you to have more surface area so you can get more of the delicious toppings that are going on top of the bread. I love bread. I'm still chewing that bread. Do it again. Now I'm just waiting for my olive oil to cool down. I think I'll stick it in the fridge. This crispy garlic. This olive oil is cool, so now we're gonna pour it on our tomatoes. I'm not gonna use all of it. All of it! That was so good. Sorry, I had to compose myself there for a second. Okay, and then we're gonna use flaky salt. I'm gonna start with 2 pinches. We can always add more if we need to. Pepper. Always fresh ground pepper. Always. Balsamic. Perfect. And then some, not all, of that crispy garlic. Oh, not all of it. Oh my gosh. I love that. Stir your bruschetta. Gently. You don't want to bruise the tomatoes. Oh my goodness. I'm still cracking myself up about that. That's fantastic. I've got my bread on broil, and as anybody has ever broiled anything before, I'm going to keep a very close eye on it because, 1 minute it's fine, and then 10 seconds later it's not fine at all. Was the olive joke cheesy? Fresh bruschetta, shaved Parmesan cheese, crispy garlic, garlic infused olive oil. This one isn't for the vampires. I'll tell you that right now. But it is going to be perfect as any appetizer dish that you can bring to any party. Or if you're like me and you're just going to eat this for lunch. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Table Fellowship. I appreciate you all. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So sorry. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And I will see you next time.